I do feel that as social media completely hypnotizes the American youth as the fentanyl crisis rages, as there's no longer any sort of societal enforcing of the marriage nuclear family norm, meaning as like homeless people and people on welfare have 6 to 8 fucking kids. And I'm not saying this happens in any one race in particular, because we've been to Appalachia where there are plenty of people who are on drugs and in broken households and have like 16 fucking kids. It happens all over the country. America is becoming so fucking stupid that the average person you talk to on the street probably couldn't point out Germany on a map.
It is. I did that. Yeah. I make YouTube videos where I ask people to name. I ask them questions like, name 3 European countries, and now place France on the map for me. Dude, it was like, I thought these videos, because I've seen them on like Jimmy Kimmel, they did that stuff, where they ask Americans prove that Americans are dumb or whatever. And I always thought these were cut together, where you basically cut together the dumbest Americans. But dude, it was unbelievable, especially I did at Coachella and I asked all these influencer girls. Oh my God. Dude, I was like, also name a famous German person. And everybody, they all said like Hitler. That was the only person they knew. But again, he's
that one is tough.
That one is tough.
My mind went to David Hasselhoff.
Dude, mine would all be Nazi.
Dude, David Hasselhoff, that's so funny.
What's this Bastian Schweinsteiger?
That's fucking
It's Schweinsteiger.
Schweinsteiger. That's a good one.
Dennis,
good soccer player.
Dennis Seaver, the UFC fighter.
Wasn't Einstein or?
Yeah, Einstein.
There you go.
He's also Jewish, but a lot of Jewish people are technically German.
I would say though that with that backdrop, and also it probably stands out particularly to you because Germans are so well educated. Our buddy Mark from Germany, who we were talking about, super fucking smart. Yeah. I started my channel doing street interviews similar to yours, and I remember in Vegas, I interviewed a German guy who was super brilliant, super well educated, our age. So compared to you guys are what we think of. The German education system is producing people like our founding fathers who are well-versed in all sorts of fields. Sure. If you read one of their letters, it would read like John Quincy Adams writing to his fucking nephew.
Dude, it is unbelievable. And I studied in Berlin. I studied international business management with a bunch of Americans. And the level of, and I don't want to just shit on America, because America is great country, God's country, America, freedom, all this stuff. Sure. But education system is kind of fucked up. Also, you pay so fucking much for it. Why the fuck is it so much worse? Yeah. Like, the level of education, like having a high school diploma and going to college, the level of math especially that I had, just a baseline level of math going to, in Germany we have three tiers of school. Like there's a basic, intermediate, and then like a high level. So I went to the highest level for high school, right? But I basically had nothing to do because they adjusted the curriculum to Americans. I had a bunch of people from San Francisco studying with me. Dude, I had nothing to do for the first 2 semesters because it was all we knew all that. And whenever I do the street interviews and I ask people, hey, name 3 countries in Africa and all that shit, Americans have no fucking idea. Whenever I found a European person, it's not just Germans. I found a Swedish person. They'd be like this, that. And they even know American states. It's just, I don't even know how that's possible.
So it's because Americans don't really value education.
Let's try this right now. Austin, name 3 countries in Africa.
In Africa, like Zambia, Egypt, Nigeria.
Dino, name 3 more.
Ghana, Toga, Guinea.
Toga and Guinea? I've never heard of those. Have you heard of Toga or Guinea?
I know Tonga and Papua New Guinea.
I don't think those are African, buddy.
You know what somebody said was like Wakanda? That was my favorite.
Wakanda. But I don't think it's really a problem with our teachers or the education system really itself. It's more just like people just don't give a fuck. It's just like, how can I cheat? How can I how can I do the least amount of effort possible and still pass? Like, just nobody cares. Like, nobody's trying.
I will say that is, I don't know if this is done in Germany, but there needs to be some motivation going on. I would have loved in 4th grade for a dude in a suit to come into school with a presentation to just basically show if you work hard and master these subjects, this is the kind of car you can drive. Right. This is the kind of piece of ass you can be banging. Yeah. If you don't master these subjects, if you don't use a condom when you're having sex in your freshman year of high school, this is the kind of accommodation you're going to be living in. The laser pointer goes to a Section 8 block. And this is the kind of woman you're going to share the rest of your life with.
Yeah.
Obese chick
my
with fucking
God.
pigtails.
We should do that, dude. We should present to high schools. And
It's
do this.
weird though because I think the more reinforced that, also it's not even true. I don't think you get a better job from, especially now. It's changed a little bit.
Not now,
Education is
yeah.
different. America is also different because in Germany it's much more linked to your education. I feel like in Germany there's a clearer path with like if you study, you go to university. And you work for Mercedes, and you have a good job. Whereas in America, there's a much bigger focus on becoming an entrepreneur. That's why I love America personally. But if I wanted to have a regular life, study a job, become an engineer, raise a kid, not pay for college, have free healthcare, Europe is 10 times more livable in my opinion.
Yeah.
But anything outside the box, like being an entrepreneur, doing entertainment, all this stuff that essentially
too
we're
hard,
doing, it's way easier in America. And I think that's maybe one of the factors that, cause this divide when it comes to
there's maybe paralysis by analysis here where there's so much shit you can do that, I think you're right. Because when I was in my later years of high school and in community college, I was still like, maybe I can be a guitar player.
Yeah, no, in Germany it's clear. I knew that I wanted to become. I love chemistry and I love science and shit. And I actually loved school and shit. So like,
What do you think about Zyklon B? I'm sorry, continue.
I don't know what that is. Zyklon B.
Yeah, they used it in a certain camp over there.
That's
allegedly used it.
Allegedly used it. Yeah. Allegedly.
No allegations. Continue.
I'm sure of that. No, so for me the path was clear. I was like, I'm gonna study chemistry. I'm gonna work for Bayer or a big pharmaceutical company in Germany, and I was excited about that shit. And that's how you gain status in Germany. If you work for BMW and you are a top level engineer, that's the equivalent of making it.
Yeah.
And in America, it's like, we don't idolize entrepreneurs. Like here, Steve Jobs, Bill Gates, especially Steve Jobs. I mean, he's like people, there's movies about him. He's like a hero for people.
Right.
In Germany, we don't have that.
Nobody idolizes the
idolizes
mid-level
entrepreneurs.
manager at Sony
No,
or
exactly.
at like Morgan Stanley even. Like
Yeah.
if all the guys I know who are just white collar guys, even if they make like $250,000 a year, they would all happily trade lives with a social media personality or a DJ.
Yeah, interesting. No, that's you get a lot of recognition from that kind of stuff in Germany.
Yeah.
Which is, there's pros and cons. Again, I think, and I thought about this because I'm engaged now. I got engaged a couple of weeks ago. Thank you.
To a Jewish woman.
Thank you.
Smart.
To a
Jewish one. We're
Yeah.
Jew. She's a Jew.
She's a Jew. Yeah. I'm an ally. All right. I'm good. And I don't know. I'm thinking about, like essentially at some point having a kid, and I was like, dude, I want to be in America. I'm gonna get my green card and all that stuff. But dude, sometimes the thought of being able to live in Europe where I can go to I can send my kid to college for free.
Yeah.
I can have healthcare. Dude, my friend went to Portugal, had an accident on a motorcycle.
Yeah.
Really bad. Like he broke something. It was not. I mean, he wasn't.
American friend or German
American friend? American friend. Went on vacation to Portugal. Paid the bill in the Portugal hospital, and he was like, "Oh fuck! In America, this would have fucked me. He didn't have insurance or anything. $15."
That's hilarious. That same
15
exact.
bucks.
I have the same story. It was a scooter. He was in Lisbon. He tripped, passed out. Fucking ambulance. Wakes up in the hospital. Concussion. Nothing crazy. Little broken wrist.
Yeah.
Some cuts.
Yeah.
$15. Have a nice day. Hottest nurses of all time.
Oh, that's
too, he said,
important too.
Portugal is a great
Dude,
country.
beautiful
Portugal
people,
is,
man.
I had a scare where I couldn't come back to America, and they basically wanted to send me back to Germany. But they're assholes at the border. You can be glad you guys are Americans, because the way American immigration people treat foreigners is unbelievable, dude.
Wow.
They're absolute dicks. They're trained to be assholes. They they wanted to escape. They wanted to break me. They did some Jedi mind tricks on me and shit. And then they were like, okay, we're going to take your visa away from you and you can never come back to America. And they told me that.
Damn.
And then they sent me into a dark room for 45 minutes without my phone. And I
the
just thought about my
fuck?
life. And then they checked in on me. And because I didn't break or confess anything I'd done, they were like, okay, you're good to go. But for 45 minutes, I thought that I could never come back to America and my life was over here. Mind you, I was already had a place here. I had a career. I had a girlfriend at the time, So in that moment, I was like, okay, fine. I'll just move to Europe. I was like, I'm very German. I'm very like, when something happens, I'm like, what's the next step? What's the next step? So I was thinking, dude, the idea of living in Berlin or Lisbon or Madrid, these were my top 3 in Europe.
Probably none of them would be bad.
Lisbon
Amazing,
was
dude.
like
So much
I gotta
cheaper.
get out of here, Leo.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Get out of here.
I gotta go to the gym, motherfucker. I gotta start looking
yeah?
like Mario. Yeah.